The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are simply that, opinions. All are presumed innocent until proven otherwise in a court of law. Sensitive topics are discussed. Discretion is advised.
Tonight, on Closing Arguments, conservative activist Charlie Kirk was speaking in front of thousands of students at Utah Valley University when a single shot rang out, striking Kirk in the neck. Police launched a manhunt for the shooter that lasted 33 hours before 22-year-old Tyler Robinson turned himself in to authorities. Robinson remains in custody, and today he was back inside a Utah courtroom as the attorneys hash out the details of his highly anticipated trial. In Washington State, a local fire chief on trial for the murder of his wife. Prosecutors say Kevin and Marcy West's marriage was on the rocks and that Kevin was having an affair before he strangled her. But Kevin claims their marriage was solid and Marcy died after having a seizure. What will the jury believe? But first, Derek Rosa was just 13 years old when he snuck into his mother's room in the middle of the night and stabbed her to death as she slept. And today, 15-year-old Derek was just days away from the start of his trial when he changed his plea. We have the very latest from today's hearing.
Good evening and welcome to Closing Arguments. I'm Ted Rollins in tonight on this Friday for Vinnie Politan. When Derek Rosa was 13 years old, he was interested in horror movies like Friday the 13th, like to send disturbing images of death to his friends. And when he was surfing the internet, he researched things like the best way to kill someone. Then, on Thursday, October 12th, 2023, Derek Rosa snuck into his mother's room where Irina Garcia was sleeping with her newborn daughter and stabbed her 46 times. Derek Rosa took a photo of his mother laying in a pool of blood and a photo of the blood on his hands, and he sent it to a friend before he called 911 and confessed. He was 13. He was only 13, but he was charged as an adult with first-degree murder. Now, Derek Rosa is 15, and days before his murder trial was scheduled to begin this afternoon, he decided to change his plea.
Derek Rosa, please raise your right hand. The clerk will administer the oath.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Okay, you can put your hand down. State if I miss anything in the colloquy, please let me know, or in the sentence, please let me know. Just listen. Would you prefer that I call you Derek or Mr. Rosa? What are you more comfortable with?
Derek is fine, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. I sworn you under oath. Your lawyers tell me that you wish to change your plea today, and that requires me to talk to you for a while. Okay? I'm going to ask you to respond to my questions out loud and in full words. Are you good with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, good. If at any time you have any questions, just raise your hand or say so. I'll let you talk with Ms. Riello, so that we satisfy whatever your questions are, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, some of these questions are going to sound dumb, but work with me because I'm required to ask them in the way that I ask them, okay? All right. For starters, are you Derek Rosa, who was born on August 26, 2010?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. I have to establish that I'm the right person, okay? And you are the defendant that's charged in this case, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. Are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs as you sit there right now?
No, Your Honor.
Do you take any medications that would keep you from understanding what's going on around you?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you mind if I ask, are you taking any medications now?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I know that you're 15 years old.
Yes,
I know that you were in 8th grade when you first came into the jail. But you've been getting classes with Miami-Dade teachers since you've been with us, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, good. I know that you're 15 years old.
Yes,
I know that you were in 8th grade when you first came into the jail. But you've been getting classes with Miami-Dade teachers since you've been with us, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, good. because I need to inquire as to whether you feel comfortable reading and writing the English language. Do you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. And I ask that because I've got this acknowledgement and waiver of rights form that I have right here. And it looks like it's got your signature on it. Did you sign this?
Yes, Your Honor.
And normally when I see a document that's signed by somebody, it means to me that you've read it, that you understand it, and what you didn't understand you would have asked your lawyer about. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, good. It also means I'm not going to read the whole thing out loud. Because as you'll learn in life, you sign it, you own it, okay? But this is an acknowledgement and waiver of rights form. It talks about the rights that you give up when you enter a plea of guilty, like you're doing right now. But I'm going to go over some of them with you. We'll get to that in a minute. Have you had enough time to talk with your lawyers about what we're doing here today and about your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have they answered all of your questions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you happy with the work that's been done for you by your lawyers in this case?
I'm very happy.
Good. Yes, they've done a lot. They've done a lot of work, a lot of hard work for you. Do you wish to enter a plea of guilty to the charge of murder in the second degree with a weapon?
Yes, Your Honor.
You've got the right to say anything that you want to say at this point, if you have anything that you wish to say at the point. Your choice.
I'm sorry. That's it, Your Honor.
All right. Is there anything further that you need to do? I adjudicate you guilty of second-degree murder. I sentence you to 25 years in the Florida State Prison with all credit for time served. That will be back to October 12, 2023. That prison period will be followed by 20 years of probation. The first 10 years will be supervised probation. We call it reporting probation. I'll waive cost of supervision for the first 5 years. After that, it'll be $25 per month. A special condition of that probation will be that when you are released from custody, from the prison sentence, your probation officer will place this case on the calendar for whatever judge happens to be here, and they will be permitted, if they wish, to order up some doctors, to appoint some doctors to evaluate you and your psychological condition, and that you will undergo whatever mental health treatment is required, including but not limited to residential treatment up to but not exceeding 6 months. We're not going to keep them forever, but if they believe that it's necessary, some judge in the future will be allowed to do that on probation. The second 10 years of probation will be what we call non-report. You won't have to report to your probation officer, you won't have to pay any money, you just have to not get arrested. Okay? I'm required by law to impose, I'm going to guess it's $603 of court costs in this case. I do so at this time. Also, as a condition of the probation, a stay away order from Frank Ramos and a minor child whose initials are AR.
All right, that's it. 25 to life. Ends up pleading guilty right before trial. Let's bring in the think tank and talk about this one. Criminal defense attorney Josh Kohlsrud with us, also with us, former law enforcement officer and host of Strong Enough, the podcast, Claudia King, and also with us, Holland Reed, entertainment host. Thank you all for being here on a Friday night. This case, that what sticks out to you is his age. He's 13 when this happens. How low should we be going for? I get it. It's gruesome. It's crazy. 40 times he kills his mom while she's asleep. But is this the route that we take when a 13-year-old does this? Send them off to the state penitentiary for 25 years? Josh Kohlsrud?
You know, it is a really tough case. And when somebody does something like this in cold blood, where they stab and kill their mother by stabbing her 40 times in the back while she slept. You know, it's the type of case where society takes notice, obviously. And this person, the son, you know, he committed an adult act, a felony. And you can't just let that go. And you have to look at, really, what is justice? And first, you always have to get the views of the victim's family. I don't think that the prosecutors would have given this plea agreement had the victim's family not signed off onto it. But you also have to look at whether or not this is going to deter others from doing that conduct. So there's general deterrence, which deters others, and then specific deterrence. The punishment is supposed to be severe enough where it makes it so this guy doesn't want to do it again. And I think that it's a just sentence given those factors.
Let's hear about, let's hear from the stepdad here, Frank Ramos. He gave a very emotional victim impact statement. Rosa didn't say anything. He was very stoic throughout it. Take a look.
Tu mamá fue una madre amorosa y dedicada, una excelente persona. Su partida destruyó nuestra familia y cambió mi vida para siempre.
Your mom was a loving mother, dedicated and an excellent person. Losing her destroyed our family and changed her life forever.
Después de esta tragedia, me quedé solo con tu hermanita.
After this tragedy, I was left alone taking care of your little sister.
Y apenas 14 días de nacido.
Of only 14 days of having been born.
Yeah, no reaction. There's mom. 40 stab wounds while she slept. Claudia King, he's sentenced to 25 to life, so he'd be 38 when he's eligible for parole. He's 13 at the time. Wouldn't it be better, or could it be better, if he didn't go into the criminal justice, into the penitentiary in Florida, but went into a mental institution where he could spend the rest of his life if he is deemed a danger to society? Because throwing him into the state pen and then having him pop out at 38 after hanging out with those folks, that seems scarier to me.
It does seem scary, Ted, but the problem is I'm not sure that he's mentally ill. I don't know that he would fit the protocol to be in a place like that. And it is unfortunate where he's going, and he's going to be housed with adults at the age of 15. But to your earlier point, you know, he was 13, and I think a well-adjusted, normal 13-year-old knows that you can't murder your mom like that. And he seems very normal and well-adjusted. In listening to his police interview and the 911 tape, he knew what he was doing and he knew it was wrong. So unfortunately, there's just not a good solution for a situation like this, because he is absolutely a danger and he has to go away for a significant period of time for the safety of the community.
Oh, absolutely. But at 38, he will be evaluated. You know, that's part of the agreement here. When he is eligible for parole, he'll be evaluated, and that's where things may change. There was a part of this case, though. Derek Rosa supporters. There were lots of them around the country. Holland Reed. He's very young. But a lot of these people thought he was innocent. Let's hear a little bit from them, and I want to get your reaction and explanation. Why did people gravitate towards this young man who committed, now we know, because he pled guilty, this heinous act? Here are some of his supporters.
We're here to support Derek Rosa's case. We want Derek Rosa's freedom. We don't want Derek Rosa's rights to be violated any longer. His constitutional rights is being violated as well. We want Derek Rosa's freedom. We want justice for Irina Garcia. We want the real person who committed this passion crime to be charged fully. Derek Rosa did not do it. He's a child. That was from NBC 6 at South Florida. Our thanks to them.
What's going on, Holland? Why were people so enamored by this young man, given the brutality of this horrible murder?
Well, let's just look at him. He's not an unattractive young man. He's also at the time, 13 years old. We want to believe so strongly that you need to look like a monster to be a monster, and that's just simply not true. People get so wrapped up in the perception of what crime should look like or shouldn't look like, especially when it's a sensationalized case like this. Unfortunately, he did the crime. He had all the premeditated searches. This was not a crime of passion. This was a crime of intent and against his own mother nonetheless, which makes it even worse. So the supporters are equally delusional, and maybe they need to be in the mental hospital at this point other than him, because they are just joining the fanfare when it comes to how we sensationalize crime. And let's be clear, we're all here because the jobs that we have is because true crime is such a fascinating thing to talk about and discuss. But when you have a 13-year-old that looks the way that he looks, you're gonna have the people, the sleuths, the people that wanna marry the criminal, the murderer, that wanna be on the bandwagon of something that is so sensational when truly a monster does not always look like the gremlin in the night. It looks like an innocent 13-year-old.
Yeah, Josh, though, for me, you're absolutely right, Holland, but Josh, he scares the heck out of me. So at 38, he's gonna, I would think, after spending that amount of time in the state pen, be even scarier. What are the odds that he does get out at 38, and what will have to happen after the judge did add that into the agreement in terms of the terms of his parole?
Well, he's lucky that he's not getting a life sentence because under Florida law, even people at the young age of 13 who commit first-degree murder can receive a life sentence. So, you know, he should be counting his blessings. Now, when he gets out at age 35, he's going to be placed on a very long stint of probation, 20 years. So the state is going to be looking after him for quite some time. Now, will he be reformed? You know, that is only up to him. You know, if he wants to turn a new leaf, I hope that he does. Society is giving him a second choice, and, you know, let's see if he deserves it.
Yeah, we'll see. That's, for now, Derek Rosa heading to the state pen for 25 to life after pleading guilty to second-degree murder, the plea deal right before his trial. Let's get a break. When we come back, the think tank will stay with us after the break. Testimony from the cheating fire chief murder trial. Plus, here is what is coming up next hour on VPI.
Tonight on Vinnie Politan Investigates, Brendan Banfield was having an affair with his Brazilian au pair when prosecutors say he concocted an elaborate plan to kill his wife and another man inside their home. But will blood spatter on Brendan's clothing unravel Brendan's defense? We investigate.
The Court TV podcast will return.
A call to 911 in the early morning hours of January 8, 2024, brought firefighters to the home of one of their own. The caller was Kevin West, the battalion chief of the Camas-Washougal Fire Department in Washington State. He told dispatchers his wife was having a seizure.
And then I knew she was having a seizure and got out of bed.
This case did not begin as a homicide investigation. But what matters is not how this case began, but how the truth ultimately emerged.
The truth, according to prosecutors, is that Marcy West, Kevin's wife, was murdered.
There's bilateral bruising behind the ears, and that when the scalp was peeled back, there's a large contusion between the skull and the scalp. Those constellation of injuries, including other injuries that Dr. Burt will testify to, are those of vascular strangulation.
In an interview with detectives, West painted his marriage as solid. He told police the night before his wife died they had Chinese takeout, watched movies together, and were intimate. But the examination of his cell phone revealed he was having an affair.
He deleted messages that he had sent to others that said, "I'm going to leave Marcy on January 8th. I know where I stand."
Defense attorney Brian Walker concedes the marriage had problems, but says West still loved his wife and did everything he could to save her.
He tried to save the woman he'd been married to for about 22 years, but it was not a perfect marriage. You will find it was not. It was a deteriorating marriage. It was one that had been crumbling for years.
The defense claims Marcy's injuries discovered at autopsy could have been the result of aggressive life-saving measures or an intense massage she received shortly before her death.
He gave these massages where he would rub really hard. He would stick his elbow in and just dig until people said, "Okay, that's enough."
Kevin West faces a charge of first-degree murder. If convicted, he could face life in prison.
All right, Kevin West, fire chief in Washington, accused of killing his wife, Marcy. He's having an affair, prosecutors say, and there's evidence that he strangled her. So here we go. He calls 911. Kevin says, no, Marcy had a seizure. And the defense is saying, as you heard there, it's probably from that massage that she received from her son. That's what killed her. Today was a big day in court. Kevin West took the stand, the defendant. Normally, we would be showing that right now because we would say, oh boy, let's watch that. Because of the court order in this courtroom, we can only show the testimony the day after. So they're still, basically we have to wait till Tuesday is the bottom line. So after the holiday weekend, we'll see him on the stand. But earlier this week, we did hear from the two children of Kevin and Marcy, including that son, whose name is Ted West, who gave her that massage. Take a look.
Did you ever do anything for your mother to make her feel good? Would she ever request you to do something to make her feel good?
Yes.
What was that?
A lot of the time it was Diet Pepsi and a massage.
Kind of walk me through it. How would you start it? What parts would you touch? How did you touch them? Give us a general description of what you did.
Sounds good. Usually I would be starting at the shoulders. Sometimes I do side shoulder, sometimes back with the knuckles. And then I'd use elbow on the, valley between the neck and the shoulder. And then I'd go kind of high center neck too.
When you did this, how would your mother respond?
Depending on how hard I was pressing, she would let me know if I was pressing too hard.
Ted, would you be able to demonstrate the massage that you gave your mom on the CPR dummy there for us today?
Sure. Usually I'd start at the shoulders, and I'd use my thumbs, kind of pressing in with the front fingers and back. And then sometimes I'd go to the side and kind of do some circles on the side. Sometimes I'd be kind of doing circles on both sides of the spine. I would also do knuckles here at the neck. I would also do elbow here and behind the carotid here. And then I'd also do it right about here on the neck.
When was the last time you came home before she did this?
It was winter break. We had just celebrated Christmas and New Year's, and she drove me back to my dorm right after New Year's.
How were your mom and dad getting along at that time?
As far as I was concerned, they were getting along fine.
And how did you get back to school?
My mom drove me.
How was that trip?
It was good. Partway through the drive, she experienced a severe headache. Asked me to pass her the ibuprofen bottle. We had to pull over multiple times. I almost had to take over driving.
How did you find out about your mother?
I was at the Starbucks at Cicero Library. I got a call from Dad asking where I was. I told him where I was. He told me to come to the dorm right away and that he and Ted were there. I walked back to my dorm. He walked me upstairs, sat me down, and told me that my mother had passed.
How was your dad emotionally when you saw him?
I could tell he was very shaken when I first saw him. His eyes were red, he was shaking, very distraught.
Do you know who Cynthia Ward is?
Yes.
Yeah, who is she?
She's my dad's fiance.
Did you, when did you find out about her?
I found out about her after a gathering we had at the house.
Did he indicate whether it's something that had just started or had been going on? Do you have any idea?
Not at that moment, no.
Did he ever clarify that?
Yes.
What is your understanding now?
A few months later, we were at the trailer he was living at. I can't remember which RV park he was at this time, but he pulled me outside. He's like, I haven't been completely honest, but Cynthia and I have been seeing each other for a few months now.
Okay. So that means even before your mother passed?
Yes.
All right, it's 5:30 out there on the Pacific Coast. The jury heard the closing arguments in this case. They heard the defendant testify today. They did deliberate for a short time. They have gone home now for the long weekend, so the deliberations will begin in earnest Tuesday morning out there, and we'll be watching to see what they think of all of this. Josh Colesrud, Claudia King, and Holland Reed all with us. Claudia, what do you think of the fire chief's story and the fact that, I mean, the kids support him? That's pretty obvious through their testimony. We see this before. Morphew's kids support him out in Colorado. What's your take?
I mean, I can understand that because it would be very difficult to think that your dad murdered your mom. But this is the dumbest defense that I think we have seen in quite some time, the old massage defense. And, you know, even when other Ted, Massage Ted, gave the demonstration, you know, nothing there was going to cause these types of injuries. And I have performed life-saving maneuvers before, and none of them involved anything that would crush a larynx or put these severe bruises on the side and back of the neck. So I just think, you know, Kevin decided he was going to take matters into his own hands. He wanted to get rid of Marcy. He wanted to move on in with Cynthia, and that's what he did.
Holland, massage therapist Ted, he got up there and demonstrated on the crash test dummy. I got to agree with Claudia that that's what killed her, caused a seizure. What's your take?
Okay, so I'm going to have two takes on this as a mother of a son who is 24 years old, who is 6'8", over 250 plus pounds, who has given me multiple massages on my neck and my back that are very, very, very deep and intense because I have a lot of back pain, has never caused me to bruise or have seizures or what have you. So that is the most unbelievable thing I've seen. I'm like, what are you even talking about? Second, the demeanor of the children. They are so unmoved and unbothered talking about their dead mother. That was more disturbing than anything. The smile on the son's face when he's describing the massage of his now deceased mother is insane. So I feel like there's something a little bit more nefarious going on with them coming to the defense of their father, whether they're programmed, whether they maybe didn't like their mother. The whole idea that this man was having an affair. Hey, viewers out there, there's a thing called divorce. Just get one of those and move on with your life.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. Holland, you have too much stress. That's why you need all these massages from your son. You're gonna lighten it up.
Hey, I didn't write calm down on my notepad today. I had to write that.
Write that down. Josh, your take on this defense? It's unique. Now we haven't seen him on the stand how he performed. He's a first responder. What's your take on that? This whole defense that wife had a seizure caused by the son's massage, and I didn't do anything.
You know, as a trial attorney who regularly tries homicides, I am just flabbergasted that they decided to go with the massage has gone wrong defense. And I'll tell you why. So the state presented 2 forensic pathologists who tore that theory apart, saying that it's impossible that the victim could have died from asphyxiation and had a seizure from a massage. And that's devastating to the defense because their entire defense is medical, right? It's not that they're saying somebody else did it or that it was an alibi. They're literally saying it was something that was medical, directly related to a massage. And here's the top of everything. They didn't present their own forensic pathologist to back that up. I mean, how could you not
couldn't find one.
Your own pathologist to do it?
Yeah, well, because likely no one was going to get up there under oath and say, well, massages can be dangerous in this way. Now, Claudia, what about just saying, hey, the life-saving measures that were performed on her could have caused these injuries, reasonable doubt. Don't bring in the massage theory.
I mean, I don't know if that would have worked, but it would have made slightly more sense, potentially. But I think at the same time, you're going to be able to get doctors and first responders to come in and say that that's just not possible. But this massage defense, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, A+ for creativity, but other than that, it's just not a win.
Yeah, all right. Think tanks, stick around.
D- for creativity. D- putting F for creativity. That was horrible.
All right, everyone's gonna stick around. Coming up, the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk. Back in a Utah courtroom today, his lawyers want the prosecution team to back off and recuse themselves. We'll tell you why and have highlights from the hearing. Stay with us.
Now, back to the Court TV podcast.
The suspect ran behind that upper building. He's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. You're going to see a very distinctive T-shirt with an American flag and appears to have an eagle on it. There's also a baseball cap with a triangle on it and a pair of sunglasses. All distinctive, all things that we would ask the public to look for.
To whoever did this, we will find you.
Well, they didn't have to find him because while law enforcement was searching for the man who killed conservative activist Charlie Kirk in September, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson turned himself in to Utah police. Today, he was back in court. He is facing a potential death sentence here. They're going to go for the death penalty. And Tyler Robinson's defense team is arguing that there's a conflict of interest that exists in the Utah County Attorney's Office and that they should be disqualified from prosecuting the case. Why? Well, the defense says that an adult child of one of the office's attorneys was at the event where Kirk was killed. Here's how the defense laid out the argument today.
What we think the court should do is the court should strike the Utah County Attorney's response to our motion and direct the Attorney General to take up the responsibility for responding to our motion in whichever way clearly non-conflicted attorneys representing the state think they should, how it should be responded to.
So is that a special prosecutor? The state comes in and prosecutes? Well, Utah County was having none of it. The prosecution fired back today. Quick response. Take a listen to this.
I just think this is ambush and another stalling tactic to delay these proceedings. There's no reason that they could not have at least filed the motion and asked for time to brief it. And where does it end?
Where does it end? Well, after a brief recess, the prosecutor actually got on the witness stand and he described the relationship that he had with this attorney in his office whose child was at the rally.
Prosecutor A has an adult child who was at the September 10th rally at Utah Valley University, correct?
That is what I mean, I don't have personal knowledge of that other than what they have told me. So, like, I never saw that adult child, but I'm assuming, yes, that's true.
Okay, but on September 10th, 2025, at the moment that Mr. Kirk was shot and ultimately died from that shooting at Utah Valley University, you were in Davis County, right?
Yes, I indicated in the motion that it was Ogden, but it was actually Layton. So it was Layton.
Layton?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that's Davis County.
All right, that's what I thought. And Prosecutor A was with you?
Yes.
Okay, and isn't it true that while you and Prosecutor A were in Davis County, you learned from Prosecutor A that one of his adult children was at the rally and was texting him about their experience?
Yes, I mean, we had just broken for lunch, and he showed me the text, Charlie Kirk got shot.
And that was a text that he showed you was from one of his children, right?
Yes.
And you knew at the time that it was a text from one of his children, right?
Yes.
What did he say to you? So I'm talking about Prosecutor A.
He said, look at what my child just showed me. And that's about it. And then he said, you know, I should be getting down to UVU.
So Prosecutor A and the county attorney actually went together in the same car to respond to this and headed to the crime scene. Still with us, Josh Colesrud, Claudia King, and Holland Reed. All right, Josh, legally, is this a conflict of interest? You've got the prosecuting attorney in with Prosecutor A. He says, look at my adult, we're not supposed to give any indication who this is. My adult child has sent me on text, Charlie Kirk's been shot. Okay, let's go. They go together. The defense is saying, oh, whole team's got to go. Your thoughts?
No, this is not a conflict in which the prosecutor should recuse himself. Now, the rule that Mr. Novak is relying on is Rule 1.7 of the Rules of Professional Responsibility for Utah. And what that rule states is that any personal interest that a lawyer has where there's a significant risk that that personal interest will materially affect his representation, then he would need to recuse himself. Now, that's not vibes, it's not optics, it's not public trust. It is, will this personal interest, is there a chance, a significant risk that it'll materially affect his representation? And the answer is no. You know, especially in small towns like this kind of thing happens all the time. And the judge, I would expect him to deny this pretty quickly.
Also on the table, Holland Reed, is cameras in the courtroom. They went after the media today. Again, the defense did, saying that they believe that the photographer was zooming in on the defendant's lips to lip read. This is a very polarizing case, obviously. People feel very strongly about it. Hopefully not about the murder, but what is the, give us a sense of to what extent people are dialed into this and will be when it eventually does go to trial?
Well, everyone, since the moment that it happened, has been dialed in, and there is this overreach, I think, of bias from everyone involved, the audience, the layman's, the prosecutors, clearly, defendants, attorneys, and what have you. And I think that that's what makes it, again, I hate to overuse the word sensationalize, is a part of, the true crime narrative, and then also the political narrative in this case. Every single thing is going to be scrutinized and overanalyzed in ways that we probably haven't seen, because it has been so politicized and it is so polarizing. And I think that that's where we are, especially dealing with this idea that this parent who probably went to the location as a parent, not a prosecutor, and now that's being used to try to dismiss an entire team. The same way the photographer zoomed in, that's their job. And as a photographer, that is our job. You're telling a story. So I think the entire, the story itself will continue to play itself out in this grandiose way, and everyone involved you're going to be hot or cold, and that's just going to be the nature of this case.
Claudia, from a law enforcement perspective, the security was an issue and seems to be an issue. This is a guy that is so polarizing. He's coming. It's advertised that he's coming. Students are coming, and there's a handful of people that are there in terms of security. A lot of them from Charlie Kirk's own security team. I imagine that this will have, what happens behind the scenes when something like this happens in law enforcement in terms of debriefing, going back and looking at what should and should not have been done?
Yeah, so you are going to go back and look at, what you could have done differently, what you could have done better. And at the end of the day, when I look at cases like this, if somebody wants to kill you, they are going to find a way to do it. And that's just the unfortunate truth. But when it comes to security, I agree that it could have been better. It should have been better. And being outdoors just gave too many opportunities for danger to occur. But that's what Charlie Kirk wanted. He wanted it to be open. He wanted anybody to be there that wanted to be there and to speak with him and have that debate with him. That's how he wanted to do it. And so he died doing what he loved to do and in the way that he wanted to do it. So I definitely respect that. But hopefully going forward, these types of things will be moved indoors, metal detectors, and much stronger security for individuals at risk.
Yeah, it's a sad reality in the times we live in. We'll leave it there. They'll keep the Tyler Robinson case is moving very slowly through the courtroom, through the judicial system. We'll keep you updated. Thank you, Think Tank, Josh Colesrud, Claudia King, Holland, get a massage, relax. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll be back. And when we come back, we'll reveal something else you need to know. Plus, coming up next hour on Vinnie Politan Investigates.
Tonight on VPI, the au pair Brendan Banfield was sleeping with when his wife and another man were killed in their home has already testified against him. Juliana Magalese told the jury the murders were carefully plotted before they carried them out. So tonight, we're asking, what will Brendan Banfield's defense be?
This is the Court TV Podcast.
All right, welcome back. Time to reveal something else you need to know. Let's put it up on the big board today. Michael David McKee was indicted by a Franklin County, Ohio grand jury and charged with aggravated murder and aggravated burglary in the shooting deaths of Monique Tepe and her husband, Spencer. Dr. Spencer Tepe, a dentist, and his wife, both found shot to death in Columbus in their home on December 30th, of course. Their two kids unharmed. Last week, Michael McKee arrested in Rockford, Illinois. He remains in custody. Columbus Police Department revealed he was previously married. They divorced in 2017 after just a couple years. He used a silencer. Yeah, that's what you need to know. Before we head out, take a look at this picture. This is Charlotte Johnson. She's 14, last seen in Colorado Springs, January 14th, 2026. If you have any information about Charlotte, Colorado Springs Police Department, or of course 911 or 1-800-THE-LOST. See if we can get her home to a safe place tonight. Don't go anywhere. More live true crime coming up next on Vinnie Politan Investigates.
There you have it. If you want to see more in-depth reporting on the latest true crime stories, you can see me every weeknight, 8 p.m. Eastern on Closing Arguments. Thank you so much for downloading. And as always, please don't forget to hug the kids.
This podcast is a production of Court TV. Go to CourtTV.com for more content, trials on demand, and to find out how to watch Court TV in your area.